for March. So on these in between moon cycles, like in between the full moon release and the new moon intentions, I want to share some different, like, just general check in spreads. And one very common one, which I'm still learning about, like, a lot of people know a lot more about this than I do, so I'm still learning. But this is a energy reading, like an aura reading, which is about the lessons that we're learning in life, and it's just 3 cards. So you can think of it as the energy leaving, your current energy, and the energy that's entering. So I'm going to just read a couple of things from my 2 books. So I have the Prism Oracle Guidebook by Nicole Pivarato and the Soul's Journey Lesson Cards Guidebook by James Van Praagh. So I'm just going to read about both of those. So I'm going to be using the Soul's Journey cards, but that is not, like, the actual cards that you use is not as important that what the cards actually are telling you. So let's go through that first, or at least that's what I'm trying to go through today. So I'm going to be shuffling up the cards, touching all the cards, and reading them, and so it will be reading my aura, but as I always say, anyone who joins the chat, anyone who's here, their aura is also being read. So, and then you can also, even if you're reading it later, or even if you're watching the reading later, you can take those ideas and see how it works in with your life. All right, so the 3 card spread from the Soul's Journey. After the cards have been shuffled by you or the recipient of the reading, place the deck in front of you. Lay the first card to your left. This card represents a lesson that has already been made evident but may not have been embraced or learned.
Test results, symptom checklist.
Sorry. Hello. I'm doing an oracle reading. This card is the cornerstone of the 3 card reading. So this first card. As it signifies the essence of the query or the progress, and progress cannot be made unless this lesson has been addressed and dealt with. Hello, thank you for your reactions. I'm here doing some oracle readings. We're doing a 3 card oracle spread today, and I'm just reading up on that so I can have a little bit of information about the different kinds of 3 card spreads. So I have 2 books here, but I'll read this. I'm reading this one first. So when they talk about the essence of the query, so that means, like, when you're, hello Dante, thanks for joining. Whenever you are um, asking the cards for guidance, or asking the cards like what your aura is, or your oracle reading is, that's the query. Sometimes you can have a specific question, like, what is happening right now, what's happening in my life, or like, what should I be focusing on, what should I be releasing? Or sometimes the questions could be like even more specific, like that, like, which job should I take, which man is right for me, etc., etc. So the um so the first card is the cornerstone of, and it signifies the essence of the query. So that kind of means the reason why you came, the reason why you're choosing to do the reading today. And then the middle card, which I also labeled as the current energy, place the next card to the right of the first card. This card represents the energy that is currently present, whether you are aware of it or not. This card is significant because if you're not prepared for this lesson, it could prove to be a stumbling block impeding your progress. So I've heard this from other people who do oracle readings. The first card is like the energy and like the overall theme of the reading for today. And the second card is like the obstacle or the block or the potential obstacle or block. And then the third card, place the third card to your right. This card suggests what long range lesson is to be learned. It is the end of the arc of your story. It may relate to the situation at hand, or it can be an ultimate life lesson of which this situation is just a piece of the puzzle. So this, what a lot of people call this, is the outcome. And what I labeled it here is as energy entering. So I'm going to switch to my other book and read what they say about the 3-card spread. And again, this is the Prism Oracle Guidebook by Nicole Pivarato. And she calls it the Aura Reading. The auric field is the invisible colored energy that surrounds your body. Each color in your aura aligns to a specific emotion. Your aura holds the information about what you're currently feeling, the energy that has just passed, and the energy that will be coming into your life. This deck is a very helpful tool for getting a glimpse of your aura because, like your aura, the Prism Oracle is focused on color and emotion. Okay, so this is relating to my other cards. You can see my other, like my full moon and my new moon spreads that I've done in the past. That I do with the Prism Oracle, which is all color coded and it relates to the chakras and everything. So that's what it's speaking to here. But to take a peek at your aura, use this spread. So um, she says it as the energy that is leaving, the current energy, and the energy that is coming in. So you can think about this card as, or this reading as lessons. So that's why I called it a 3-card lesson aura. And so it's reading your aura and seeing about the energies. But these cards that we're using today is more about the lessons that we should be learning. So I'm going to turn the camera down. Let's see if it... All right, how is that? All right, so I'll put that on, but I'm going to shuffle it a little bit first. And just so you can see it right way around, these are the 2 books I was reading from. The Soul's Journey Lesson Cards Guidebook by James Van Praagh and the Prism Oracle Guidebook by Nicole Pivarato. These are the cards. This is the guidebook that goes along with these cards. So I'm going to be referencing this book some more as we go through the reading. I'm just going to do some shuffling this way. Whoop. And if anyone is here watching, please do whatever you can to send your vibes this way. Send any queries this way if you're wondering anything about your life, if you have any questions. So what I'm going to do to make sure that my energy is being read, I'm going to touch every card, make sure every corner at least is touched by make sure that I am touching at least every corner of the card is what I'm trying to say. And then I'm touching it with both of my hands. That's just something that I like to do. Some people don't like to touch the cards with both of their hands. And they just like to go like that. But I like to make sure that both of my hands get touched and by each of the cards and like that's like a little symmetrical for me. That's something that matters to me, but it's not for everyone. So I'm just making sure that my energy is getting into the cards, and also me as the reader of the card, I'm feeling the energy of all the cards and seeing what all of the possibilities could be. Well, let me put this back up. And then I'm going to do a little shuffling. While I shuffle, and I'm just shuffling like this, nothing fancy. So while I shuffle, what I'm doing is I am listening and listening to see if there are any like pulls, any sort of messages that I feel in my heart, if there's any questions that my heart is wanting to ask, if there's anything that I'm curious about. But also, most importantly, I am listening to when the cards tell me to stop shuffling. Sometimes that pull to tell you whether it's time to stop shuffling is very strong, and sometimes it's very quiet. So sometimes you have to really listen. And then the shuffle mandates the order of the cards. So now the cards are in a specific order. And then I put it in 3 piles. And then I really listen to the cards once again. And now that they're in the right order, I see which part of the pile is my reading. And what order it should be put in. So I'm feeling this order. And now I'm going to deal my cards. So always take the top one, put it on the left, or put it in the first position because it's not always left to right. Okay, so let's see. This is the energy that is leaving, but also can be referred to as, let me just get back to that page. The lesson that has already been made evident, but may not have been embraced or learned. So this is something that it has come to me, and maybe I haven't really thought about what it means to me yet. Okay, so I got purpose. I know what I am here to do. So that's a good one for the first card, because knowing your purpose and like the reason why you're put here, like that is a constant question and a constant query. So that is always going to make sense. So the energy, when we talk about it being the energy leaving, I like to think of that as something that has been in your life, something that's been on your mind, especially if you are like a more thoughtful person. I've been reading this book called ADHD for Smartass Women, and I'm just on the first couple of chapters. But something that has been really speaking to me is the idea that women with ADHD are much more hyperactive just inside of their brains, and their brains can like just go and go and go and go. And like I feel like that when you're thinking about what your purpose is all the time, that could be something that's tied to that. So sometimes you don't have to think about it as much and just accept that the thoughts that you've had are valid and truthful, and just trust, All right, let's go on and see how these cards relate back to this card, because sometimes you can't explain this card until you read these cards too. So let's see. This is the current energy, or the energy that is currently present, whether you are aware of it or not. And if you're not prepared for the purpose, the lesson of purpose, it could prove to be a stumbling block impeding your progress. So let's see. Ooh, imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. I didn't mention this before, but all of these cards have a little mantra on it. So this doesn't necessarily mean that I do embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind, but it might be a mantra that I need to teach myself. Now, imagination, always there for me. Like I just said, purpose, I know what I'm here to do has nothing to do with like all the thoughts that are inside of your brain. But when I got this purpose card, I instantly thought of imagination. So that's very interesting to me. So my I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Oh, you know what I didn't do for purposes? I didn't read the little blurb about it. But let's go through and then we can go back and read them all together. So this is my current energy of imagination. So sometimes I have a lot of different thoughts. I'm thinking so many things right now about my life and my purpose. And I've been thinking just a lot about things that I've learned, things that I've prepared myself for, like my degree, my creativity, and all of that. And I've been thinking about it so much every single day. I'm having nightmares. I'm having trouble falling asleep. I have um, sleep time anxiety, bedtime anxiety. I've been having all of that. And I think a lot of that has to do with how much thought I've been putting on my purpose and my reasons for being here, the reasons why I've taken the journey that I've taken so far. Thinking about like COVID and all of that stuff. So, my imagination maybe is creating a little bit of a block because there's so many possibilities that I have. But let's see what the next card says, which is the energy that's entering, the energy coming in, or the long range lesson that is to be learned, the end of the arc of the story. So let's see what this is. Relationships. That's interesting. So I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So that I love. I love to hear because I feel like I got my degree in optometry and I love optometry. I would love to go back and practice, but I haven't practiced in 5 years. And I would love to go back to it, but I don't feel like my purpose in life is just being an optometrist. I feel like my purpose in life is more um, involves more the relationships, not necessarily like direct person to person relationships, but say if I do put out and publish a young adult book or a graphic novel or a children's book or something, I feel like the relationship that the reader would have to me through their relationship with the book, like that's really important to me. Or if I learn something else and I learn how to help people do something like that, makes more sense to me. And like it feels like that's what I'm being pulled towards. So that's really interesting. So let's go through and we'll read the little blurbs that they have about each of these cards, and then we will see how that can relate to some questions I might have. So, purpose. I'm going to just move this up here. I know what I am here to do. You have chosen to reincarnate on Earth for one major goal: to express love in all that you do. So, some of the language, the verbiage in these books is a little bit lofty. Sometimes you can really, like, sometimes it'll really, really speak to you, and sometimes it can be a little bit of a turnoff. I recommend, as you hear these, to take what works for you and politely say thank you and leave to the side the things that don't speak to you. The obstacles of this physical dimension can distract you from that goal, and it's easy to lose your way. Life on Earth is full of obligations that require your conscious attention, but that doesn't mean you can't infuse all of your decisions with caring and compassion. Your purpose in life is not your career. Rather, your career is guided by your purpose. What activities speak to your soul? What brings you joy? That is the direction your soul is calling you toward, to best convey your own unique expression of love and make a contribution to the world. If you are not happy with your current circumstances, then that is your soul telling you that there is a better way to manifest your own distinct gifts. Listen to your intuition. It is your connection to spirit and the voice of your soul. All right, so I think that speaks to a lot of things that I have said, but even more directly. So, like, you're saying that your purpose in life is not your career, rather, your career is guided by your purpose. It's like, it just says what I said, but like, says what I said, but like, without making it so that I don't know how to explain it. I think I'm saying they explained it better than I did. And then thinking about what brings you joy is important. And then, like, your current circumstances, that is very interesting to me because I feel like there are parts of what I'm doing and parts of what I'm going after that I'm so, so happy with. And there's parts of like where I am because I'm going after them that I'm very unhappy with. So that's, sometimes I just will need to listen a little bit more and just like go after things a little bit differently. Not necessarily harder, not necessarily faster, but just maybe a little bit differently. Now, imagination. I just want to take a second to appreciate the art on the card because how cool is this imagination? It's mandala like all of these are mandala like, but I love how this shows like different, like there's kind of like a flower sunburst kind of thing, and the rays of the sunburst, if you will, are different lengths and they reach different points, and then it's kind of separated into a pie. I just really love that. And then it also has those concentric circles, and then also like the arcs. I don't know, there's something about this that really makes me feel like whoever the artist was that drew this really understands what imagination feels like to someone who has a lot of imagination. All right, let me read this here. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. By its very nature, the physical body is limited by the 3 dimensions. But your mind is free to travel without boundaries and merge with the cosmic consciousness. Your mind is the great creator, and your imagination is its toolbox. Everything in life begins with the energy of imagination. Thoughts are real, and they can manifest themselves into the physical world. Train your mind to only have positive thoughts, and you will attract positivity into your life. If you can see it, you can be it. Visualize the components that you want in your life and imbue those thoughts with love, and they will become your reality. Conversely, if your mind strays to negative thoughts, you will only bring that energy to you. Be positive and loving. Imagination is creativity, Express yourself and let your imagination assist you in letting go of any creative blocks and allow your dreams to come true. Remember, you are not doing this for other people. It is your soul opening up and and singing its own unique song. All right, so that's very good. I think you put it really well. Um, it's emotional to think about these things, but I think it's really true. Like I definitely have a lot of negative thoughts about my creativity, and I think that can make things really hard. It can make it really hard to move forward in things, but I'm learning and I'm trying. I'm trying new things, and when you have a pivot in your life, it feels like you're starting from zero, and that can make things really hard, and it can feel like you have a lot of like sunken cost fallacy going on, imposter syndrome going on, and having those negative thoughts and like replacing them with positive thoughts, or what I can't remember her last name, Katie something, Katie Morton. She is on YouTube, and she's a psychologist and or like a therapist, and she talks about, instead of thinking of changing all your negative thoughts to positive ones, because sometimes that can be very difficult in itself, change your negative thoughts to closer to neutral thoughts, maybe actual neutral thoughts, or ones that are a little bit closer to neutral. And I recommend looking her up if you want to get more information about that. So, yeah, that I'm gonna read this again on my own time, because I think it really said a lot of things that um, I can hear. I can always hear that again. And so that is the current energy, which might be blocking. So it's very similar to what I said just before I even read the literature. The bad thoughts that I have can be keeping me from really getting my purpose. And then the energy or the outcome, or the entering energy or the outcome or the long-term lesson is relationships. So let's see. Let's see what that says, because that one was less obvious to me, I'll say. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. In this three-dimensional world in which we live, there is a sense that we are separate from one another, and also that we meet by chance. This is an illusion. The people in our lives are drawn to us and are here for a reason. It is through sharing experiences and having relationships with others that we begin to understand ourselves. When someone appears in your life, you must see what is not resolved or whole in the person and understand the lessons he or she brings home to you. You draw others to you like magnets in order to learn various aspects of yourself. The people you have close relationships with on earth are usually members of your soul family. You have chosen to incarnate together to help each other learn lessons, even though it may not seem that way to you now. Once a lesson is learned, don't be surprised that if that person fades away. People are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So I was saying this recently. I don't remember why I was saying it. It I think you know what it was? This is so random. I was going through all of my pens and markers, and I was seeing which ones I wanted to keep and which ones I wanted to um, like give away, and which ones I was going to repurchase, and which ones I thought I was never going to repurchase. And I was like, this pen that I had when I was learning how to do brush calligraphy. Um, this is actually not brush calligraphy, but it's similar. So, so when I was learning to do my calligraphy, that pen was there for me. it taught me what I needed it to teach me, and I no longer need it in my life, but I appreciate it for the time that it was there for me. So I definitely have thought about like seasonal friendships and the reason for seasonal friendships and the impact that that makes being a lot longer than the actual like face to face relationship lasts, and like that can make the relationship last a lot longer. So, and I've thought about it so much that I even related it to my pens and markers. So that is just how my brain works. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. That was a good, nice 30-minute spread. Let me know if you have any other different kinds of spreads that you want me to try out. I am not that well versed in different kinds of spreads, so I love trying them out different times in different ways. And this is a good way that I can really get to know my Soul's Journey cards, because I don't have like the same pull to these cards as I have to my Prism Oracle cards, which is this one. So it's nice to kind of get to know these cards a little bit better in a different way, because I do feel like these lesson cards really they have a different flavor. They're like, yeah, they're a different flavor of card than the Prism Oracle cards. So I really like to use them in different capacities. So let me know if there's any other ones you want to try out or you want me to try out. The schedule for these are going to be on the first quarter and last quarter moon. So I'm going to try to keep it to that as much as possible, or around those days. So I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.